that said, it's the odd couple, Ephraim and Chris. All right, let's start here, Ephraim, the NFL. Jerry Jones, look, it's not that we want to talk about Jerry Jones all the time.
You won't allow us
right?
not to.
Or that we want to talk about the Cowboys all the time. By the way, I'm embarrassed by this pick. I initially picked New Orleans to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, and then when Dallas signed Zeke, I picked the Cowboys.
Oh, you flipped?
Yeah, I
well,
shouldn't have flipped.
Okay, but wait. Before we get into all of that, what? Because they signed. Yes. What was the deciding factor
I
in
liked
that?
their team, and I thought that Zeke was going to be out for the first few weeks because I thought Jerry was just going to, they win 2 or 3 in a row without Zeke, and then Tony Pollard would look pretty good, and they get Zeke at a little bit of a discount, or at least less than they gave him. Then when they signed him, I'm like, okay, he's going to be ready from the get-go, and I just thought that would give them the momentum. And, again, I like their talent. I thought Kellen Moore, been a little bit disappointed in him. I thought he was going to bring a little more to the offense. So that's really, those are all the reasons that I like the Cowboys. Who was your pick in the preseason?
To come out of the
who was your Super Bowl? I had Kansas City versus Dallas.
I had Kansas City versus New Orleans.
Okay, so that was my original pick, and I changed it. Oh, you feel good about the New Orleans pick?
Yeah, I do.
How
can you not?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's open. I think San Francisco, Seattle, New Orleans.
When you really
Vikings, Green Bay. Vikings, I don't know if Cousins can get them there. I'm not going to write off Green Bay.
And that's the point. When you get down, and you know this, years and years of covering the NFL, when you get down to these months, December, and then you get into the playoffs, the number one position that sticks out is what?
Quarterback.
Although
we have seen mediocre quarterbacks with a great defense.
We have not recently. Tell me when the last time.
Well, the New England, Russell Wilson. How good was Kaepernick when they got there? They didn't win it, of course.
He was electrifying.
Electrifying?
Yeah, because he was changed.
Running.
But you got to remember, he completely changed the face, similar to what Lamar Jackson is doing. He changed the course of that offense.
Right. He wasn't as dynamic.
He was not as dynamic, but he was.
Okay.
This is
pre that Flacco, but that was way back in 11. And
yeah,
he actually
but
was
Flacco
great.
was good.
Yeah, he was great. That run.
We haven't seen anything like that since back in
There's
2000.
Rob G,
Trent
check it
Dilford,
out.
right?
Is Dilford the last mediocre quarterback to win a Super Bowl?
And I mean, the Bears tried to do it with
Flacco threw the ball well. We're gonna give it. Who else? There was somebody
Rex
else.
Grossman tried. Right. If they would have had you at quarterback, the Bears
Johnson,
that year.
But what year was that? Brad Johnson.
That was Tampa Bay, right? And
that was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Right. So there hasn't been. Check it out, Rob. You get on your computer.
But right now, like when you start looking at matchups and teams that are making the postseason, the first thing you look at is the quarterback. We got to see who's going against it. So you put Kirk Cousins against any of the top quarterbacks in the NFC. Right? Breeze.
Is Garoppolo good enough?
I think he's good enough within that offense.
Okay.
Because it's not heavily dependent on him.
Brad Johnson was the last one. In what year, Rob G? 2002. Okay.
Right? So the narrative has changed.
Right.
You used to be able to do that. The Bears tried to do it. I'm telling you, with Rex Grossman, when they were going up against Peyton Manning.
How about Peyton Manning? His last year. Now, I know he was Peyton Manning, but he wasn't good that year.
No, but he was smart enough. Right, and that's the difference. He was still dangerous enough, not for us as viewers watching, but for that defense on the other side of the ball. You had to respect it. You couldn't just rush 7 and be like, you know what I mean?
Right, I feel you. All right, with that being said, the Cowboys have Dak Prescott at the QB, and they got Jason Garrett calling the shots. And, of course, Jason Garrett has been on the hot seat now for a few weeks, really all season probably. I felt going in he'd have to get to the NFC Championship game. Now, Mike Freeman of Bleacher Report's friend of the show, he's reporting that he has to win a Super Bowl to save his job. And I would agree with that at this point. And Jerry Jones was asked about it today on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, and here's what he said about Jason Garrett.
Nobody's got the exclusive skills to get the job done so that collectively you can win a Super Bowl. But they're qualified people, Jason Garrett is one of them. In my opinion, Jason Garrett will be coaching in the NFL next year.
That's so bad. That's so wrong.
That's almost like talking about him like he's fired.
That's so wrong, man.
That's the kind of quote you would say of a friend who he is a friend of Jerry's. They love him. That's what you would say after you fired him. He's a great coach. It just wasn't, we tried. We gave it 10 years. You just needed a different voice. But in my opinion, Jason Garrett will be coaching in the NFL next year.
Boy, that was so blatant. Right?
Wow.
I mean, like, he's on your team. You're employing him. Like, you didn't say Jason Garrett will be coaching here.
Right.
All it needed was one more word. The lack of that word here tells you all you need to know.
And it's time. They
time.
could have fired him
time.
4 or 5 times and been justified.
Of course,
right?
because it was always someone else's fault. Right?
Yes.
It was always someone else's fault. And when you have a young team like they have now, and they got guys locked up. Zeke will be there. Got the offensive line will be there. I'm not sure if Amari's going to be there. I don't know how they're going to pay both of those.
Really?
It's going to be
Amari
difficult.
And Dak?
It's going to be difficult, right?
They
put themselves in this situation, though.
Well, you have to bring back Amari.
You have to.
Because Dak, you're keeping, is not the same without Amari.
You're right. So now,
but they're going to franchise Dak.
They can
so
do that.
that's going to be a little less than
they can do that, and they buy themselves another year. But what you do is by renegotiating Zeke's contract 2 years, right? With 2 years left on it, you put yourself.
So you don't think they should have done that?
I don't think they should have. No.
Really? So hold on.
Okay, but let me ask you this: what difference has it made? I know hindsight's 20/20.
Well, yeah, that's right. Hindsight is indeed.
But think about that.
And I'll say this: if he weren't there, would they be 6-6? Would they be leading that division?
I think they'd be
Maybe.
6-6 at least.
Well, at least.
At least.
So you're talking about Zeke like
no, I'm not talking about him like that. But he's not the guy.
He hasn't been the same.
He's
I'll
not
give you
a $50 million guy right now.
He has not been the same. He hadn't fallen off like Todd Gurley. But you're right. He doesn't seem to have that same burst.
Bro, he was running through people.
And I remember watching the Minnesota game, and it was a stark difference watching Dalvin Cook and even their backup, whoever I can't remember the name.
Came in, yeah.
Right. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The burst and the energy and electricity they were running with versus Zeke. Now, it's smart on Zeke's part because they run through these running backs and they just you wear them down.
It was a business decision for him.
Right.
But as an owner and a staff, you got to really look at this. When you got guys who are up, I mean, these guys would be free agents.
Right.
Think about that. Zeke, you got 2 more years. What could he do? Was he going to miss the entire year? I guarantee
I'm with
you.
Because I would have played hard, but they would have been 3-0 without him.
And
he would have had to make a decision.
Look, I'm telling you, man, it's like either you come or you
right.
You figure it out.
The Chargers did it with Melvin Gordon. So let me ask you this. Jerry, we know, is very hands-on. I mean, what other owner is talks after every game like he's the head coach? All right, Robert Kraft, I don't hear him doing all this. The Rooneys, you don't hear it. In San Antonio, do we ever hear from the owner, Peter Holt? No. This is dysfunctional. So I want to ask you, Ephraim, we've heard Urban Meyer, we've heard Lincoln Riley.
All those are coaches that Jerry can control.
Those Lincoln Riley and Urban Meyer, I don't know that he can control Urban Meyer.
Listen to this. They're college coaches making the jump to the league, right?
Jimmy Johnson was that.
I'm talking about a different time now, right? As Jerry gets older, he's like the grumpy old man, right? Get off my porch, get off my lawn. Right? So he knows he's losing grasp on what's going on. So what does he do? That mean he takes his hands off and back up?
No.
What does he do? He doubles down. Right? So you think
that's a problem.
You think Jerry Jones is going to come let a college coach dictate to him what's going to happen at his team? Think about that.
Hold on, but the college coaches make just as much as the pro coaches.
You're right.
And they're used to having control. See, I do think an Urban Meyer, even more so than a Lincoln Riley, has the respect, the gravitas to go in there, and if you're not giving me control, I'm not taking the job.
I don't think he's going to hire a coach like that. Not now.
That's a problem. Then who you getting? What coach are you get? What coach is going to make a difference-making coach who's going to let Jerry, run everything and be all up in the meetings, all up in the play call, all that stuff?
Anybody who wants to coach for the biggest.
All in the video.
Right, all of Look. If y'all.
I mean, see, right.
If y'all don't want to own her, all up in the meetings, right, all on the news, right, then come holler at us out here. But look, this is his baby. It's the number one sports brand on the planet Earth.
Right.
Okay. Do you think Jerry Jones, the owner of that brand, is going to let a college coach come into the fold and dictate what's going to happen there?
He should be humbled enough. When did he get rid of Jerry Jones?
How many humble billionaires do you know?
With Barry Switzer.
How many humble billionaires do you know?
If he wants this Super Bowl, and I get he's not going to be humble overall, but look, it's been how many years? 25 years? Since they won 1995 was their last one? 25 years since your last Super Bowl. You've been running everything. You got rid of the great Jimmy Johnson. And Bill Parcells, once he turned around, you let him go. Mm-hmm. You can't do it. Now, they can draft. They do a good job drafting.
Can't put the pieces together,
But you let the coach.
I agree with that. I'm not fighting with you.
All right.
I agree with you. But can he do that? And we've seen him back off a little bit. He's very loyal,
Garrett
right? His son has
loyal.
Told him he wanted to keep Dez Bryant. He wanted to keep him. He's like a son to me. His son was like, hey, Dad, we can't do that. We can't keep him at that price, and he can't get open. Right? He really didn't want to do that. He let that go. All right? Remember when Tony Romo got cleared and he was healthy again, he wanted to replace Dak Prescott.
So those are good signs then. Yeah, maybe he will back up a little.
But that's
and let
his
Steven
son.
do.
That's his
okay,
son.
but Steven
We're
is
talking about a coach.
Essentially the GM. Steven's essentially the GM.
Although his title is the executive vice president of.
That's so Jerry can keep
I don't
the
even
GM
know
title, right?
what that is.
But I can live with that because the GM should have some say. And I think Steven understands that you could bring in a strong head coach and let him do his thing. So we'll see. But we're going to give you guys a chance to weigh in. Does Jerry Jones need to change his ownership style in order for the Cowboys to win a Super Bowl? 877-99 on Fox. Let's start with Thomas in Erie, Pennsylvania. Thomas, you're on with Chris and Ephraim.
Hey, first time caller. Nice to get through.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was telling him some of what you hate about the NBA. I think the Cowboys need to practice on Jerry Jones, like load management.
Right. For the owner, huh? He can only go to so many games.
Yeah. Well, like with Steven, or like with Steven, he needs to just be like, hey, Jerry, let him sit back. Let Steven run the team, GM. If Jerry wants to be in front of the cameras, talking and whatnot, so he gets his, he loves his airtime and likes talking, but just let Steven take over because when anything he's done has always been really good.
Yeah, I think that may be the Cowboys' best chance of getting a different Jerry Ephraim is Steven.
Yes.
Because that is his son, so he'll let him do some things.
He has more leeway with his son. Like his son was like, Dez has to go. He let him go. His son was like, you can't take Dak out of the starting lineup. He didn't put Romo back in. So that's the one constant in the one voice as it should be. I mean, that's his son, right?
Right. And he's good.
He is good. He knows what he's doing. Yep. He's been groomed and prepped for this. So if Jerry didn't want to listen to him, why would he bring him up and put him in this environment and put him in that role?
Right. All right, let's go to Adam in D.C. Adam, you're on with the Odd Couple.
Hey, man, what's up, man? Being a native Washingtonian and a Skins fan, I hope Jerry Jones lives to be 150 years old and keep butting that. Keep making all them mistakes.
It still ain't going to matter for the Redskins. Y'all still going to be behind the Cowboys.
Hey, listen, man, that's not the topic, Chris. That's not the topic. Let's stay focused, man.
You got a worse owner by far.
Hey, man, by far. I actually think he's a secret Cowboy fan. You know, we got a lot of DC Cowboy fans. He may be one of them, guys.
Good call. Let's go to Tony in Texas. Tony on with Chris and Ephraim. Tony. Yep.
I love your show.
Thank you.
I know Jerry listens to your show. Jerry, fire the GM. Let's get a football GM or put your son in and let somebody run the team so we can get Lincoln Riley, but let him pick his own staff. I mean, he's got great players, but they're not to the system of Garrett or the defense. Jerry just picks the players, but they need a quarterback like Seattle has their quarterback to their system. You know, Tom Brady all these years to their system. I mean, Kellen, you know, the running back this year.
Yeah, I think Steven is, for all intents and purposes, the GM.
Right, but if Jerry was to fire the GM, he'd have to fire himself. Because
right. So I think they're fine with the front office. They draft very well.
They do.
And I think, look, even though I've been a little bit disappointed in Kellen Moore, I think he's fine. I mean, I think he can grow. It's his first year. He's young, talented.
Very young.
Right.
So there's going to be some
growing
pains, and which kind of gets skewed a little bit. And it happened at the quarterback position a few years ago when Andrew Luck and RG3 and all these guys came in and had ultimate success right away. Remember, it used to be, give him a few years, right? Peyton Manning came in, led the league in interceptions.
Right.
Turned out to be one of the top 3 best quarterbacks ever to play. But that narrative has shifted, and it's starting to shift now in terms of these coaches, right? You get a Sean McVay come in, he's young, and he ends up in the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
You have all of these young gurus who look at the Kyle Shanahans.
Is that changing?
Well, it's going to.
Well, Shanahan, you're right. He's doing it himself. McVay has got to go back to the drawing board.
He's got to go back to the drawing board, because the one thing the NFL will do, it will figure you out. And if you can't adjust with it, then you will be left behind.
Okay, let me ask you this then quickly. Are they going to figure out Lamar?
They're going to try to figure out Lamar, but Lamar's running the ball like no other quarterback because his athleticism, his ability to stay out of harm's way, and the way they're running these plays, right? They're using their tailbacks as lead blockers.
I see, and we talked about it briefly yesterday. Hit him. I don't know why.
You don't think they're not trying to hit him?
But every RPO,
right?
If he gives it up or not, hit him.
You know why they don't teach that? Because the person going to hit him is taking himself out of the play.
But can't you put our team spying on him?
Well, yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So
you saw what he does to the spy,
but
right? But
have your spy hit him every time whether he hands it off or fakes it.
So if he fakes it, right, he's backing up. He's going away from the action. A defensive player's natural reaction is to go towards the action, right? So if you go away, if he hands that ball off,
but is he really going away? Because he's playing, he's carrying out the fake.
He doesn't carry it all the way out. He'll take 2 steps and he'll stop.
All right, and you got 2 steps then to lay some wood on him.
But psychologically, defensive players see ball, get ball.
I get you.
See ball, get ball.
Okay.
That's just what it is.
You're gonna look. All your instincts you're gonna have to go against them to defend this guy anyway.
And you're absolutely right.
So,
but when do you gonna teach that?
I just think I think he will wear down, and he'll want to stop doing that as much.
I think he's going to put on more weight in the offseason. Gain 20 pounds.
He ain't gonna be Cam Newton.
No.
Cam Newton, you see, it's worn him down.
Yeah, because he doesn't run right. You see how many shots Cam Newton takes?
I think Lamar takes a few shots.
Cam Newton, that shot he took last year on the goal line where he acted like he didn't even see the defender, and he hit him right under his chin. Remember that?
Yes.
Like, you'll never see Lamar take one of those type of shots. He
took, who was it? Not last game, the game before. He took some licks.
So
I can't remember who that was. The Rams.
He comes out of the game and he took 2 hard shots.
Okay.
Can you take a hard shot in the pocket? Right? I just think
I'm
about
just
it.
saying, we haven't seen a guy do that. All right. I'm just saying that would be my game plan. Not that I'm no more than any NFL coach.
The mastermind.
But stick him. Stick him. Hey, it's The Odd Couple. I'm Chris. He is Rob. And we want to encourage all of you to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right. You know, you can listen to us on the radio, and now you can watch us as well, and it's fun.
No question about it. And remember, oh, yeah!